Good afternoon. My name is Scott Dahl, and I'm a professor of revenue management and digital marketing at Les Roches Global Hospitality in Cron, Montana, and welcome to the Digital Transformation Happy Hour. For those of you that don't know the show, we do it every other Thursday. It's all about connecting students and innovators and people that are in the hospitality industry in kind of a fun way and kind of a light way. Today's episode, I think, is going to be a really cool one. We're going to talk all about the new innovation hub that we've opened at Les Roches. And in order to do that, I think the best thing to do is to get my partner in crime out here in the Innovation Hub, director, Pablo Garcia. And so, hey, Pablo, we've been online a bunch together, so I think a lot of people probably know you. But for those that don't, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, Scott. Really nice to see you again. I think I've been live for the past 3-4 weeks several times. So thank you for inviting me again in this amazing show. The first time was a couple of months ago. So my name is Pablo Garcia. I'm the director of Les Roches Innovation Hub. You mentioned it's a new entity, new place at Les Roches that we would like to co-create solution for the hospitality industry. So I'm super excited to be here with you and describe more about the future of this innovation hub.
Cool. First of all, congratulations. Right, I know the amount of work that's gone into it. It's really, just getting the planning put together is one thing, but some amazing sponsors, already a lot of amazing commitments from people to be there as mentors and as partners, and things like that. But tell us a little bit, what are the goals? Why did we do it? What's the point?
There are many goals on this innovation hub. I think we are living in the new normality, new measures. It's something that we can see every day in the news. We are living ourselves, with a new way of doing things in our life. I can see at home here, with my family, doing sport online. So we are in a moment of co-creation. I think that the new measures and the new requirements that we need to have businesses require that we have new technology, and the technology have to be deployed in solutions that they are useful for many businesses. So our aim in the Innovation Hub is, first of all, co-creation. We're going to co-create the solution for the hospitality industry in different domains and different technologies. So we can talk about robotics, IoT, blockchain, app, e-commerce. So there are many possibilities to use technology to create a new solution. Also, we are here because at Les Roches, we are famous for hospitality, and we have thousands of alumni that have been through our academic program, very successful. And from these thousands, I think about 13,000 alumni. We have thousands of companies thousands of students that they open the companies after the studies. So it looks like that we are very entrepreneur in the way that we are delivering classes. And now with the new generation of this Revolution 4.0, I think we have the opportunity to link the technology partners with the students, with the professors, with the hospitality industry, and we can bring the real solution that people and company needs to be able not only to progress in what they're doing, to be better, because there are many opportunities these days.
Yeah, I think you make a really good point. I love your comment about what I like to call Les Roches DNA for entrepreneurship a little bit. I think it's maybe the thin mountain air. As you know, and some people know, I taught at a hotel school before this one. And it was a great school, great number of students, but had more of a tradition for producing students that went into the mainstream parts of hospitality, kind of the traditional part of the business. And when I came here, wow, it's just a lot of startup activity, a lot of people looking at startups before they even graduate and really going straight from graduation, in some cases even pursuing projects that they initiated here at school. So it's really kind of just, in my opinion, enabling that DNA is part of what it is, right? And allowing ourselves to really kind of step into the space that we somehow already occupied partially by default, which is super cool. But also there's kind of some pretty neat involvement within our community and everything. So I'm leading you to that question. It's pretty obvious what the answer is, but tell us about some of the partners. Why is that significant as well?
There are many. I have to say, for example, that this week we are conducting dozens of interviews with potential candidates for our incubation program that have been spreading around the world, and we receive, an amazing number of propositions to be part of this incubation program. And some of the business ideas, even the startup that they are approaching for us outside of our Les Roches space and ecosystems are amazing. And when I listen to these potential entrepreneurs, I say, wow, this is the moment to create it. This have a value. This have a value also for the hospitality industry. And there is no reason not why to support, to create this value.
Yeah, it's interesting to me also. The hub has started to become very apparent to me that it's going to be extremely useful in my teaching. And it's going to be extremely useful in terms of the connections that I have with the industry. It gives it a structure. It gives it a place to be. I can create a student project and I can use students to do that project. And I'm not somehow misappropriating free labor, but in fact, I'm combining an educational opportunity with an applied research opportunity and all those things. So it's super exciting for those of us that are involved in the business that we've created this place where there's a logical, if for no other term, an API. There's an interface between education and the business, right? That allows us to combine that stuff. And I think that for those companies, I know there are several partners in a project that you and I've been talking about going in the hub. Several of those are very established companies, but they recognize two things that it presents them. It presents them the opportunity to, first of all, get involved in innovation and to be connected with other similar people in innovation, and in an environment that really is very paradigm free. One of the things our students have is no bad habits yet. So they're willing to think about things. And I mentioned that rarefied air. I think they're willing to think about even more crazy things sometimes. But sometimes that's the beginning of disruption is a crazy idea, right? So, and the other thing they get to do is they get access to the future hoteliers. Yeah. So if you're a small company and you have a cool technology solution, it's a really nice opportunity for you to get in front of the people that are going to be deciding about your technology 3 to 5 years from now. And so it's really turned out to be, I think, you guys really nailed something with this idea in terms of the synergies of it. Give your title sponsor a plug real quick. Who's our title sponsor?
Yeah, we have many. We have sponsors, we have partners, we have collaborators. We believe a lot in the ecosystem, because with the right ecosystem, you're able to co-create anything. So we can talk about large companies, small companies, private, public. It is a very interesting ecosystem to collaborate, to produce in terms of a partnership. Okay, the back of the hub, the important part of the hub is the tech experts. So this is the companies that are coming with expertise to create the solutions. So we have amazing companies like Brunata, like Kive, like Simprosoft, like Workshop 4.0 that we have today, in this conversation. We have Apollo 13 for incubation, and after we have a lot of hotels, restaurants, insurance company. So I don't want to bore people with all this conversation, and I think that we can have that, for our next episode.
You bet. Yeah, and one of the exciting things for me, as someone who's now kind of really spending a lot of time looking at digital transformation, is that it's starting to emerge that part of digital transformation is the space in between all of those individual providers, and the understanding of how to really put them in a business and use that technology to empower the business instead of sometimes to just redesign the business for the sake of having technology. So just a little bit. We've got some guests, right? We want to talk to them eventually, but. And it's like you and I never talk except when we're online, but we do talk a lot. But you recently had a grand opening, which was online as a result of COVID. Congratulations! Actually, kind of a cool event. I attended, but congratulations on that. How did that go? What's been the feedback on the grand opening?
It was good feedback. It was very fun. It was very stressful. We were planning for the 23rd of October to invite a very interesting VIP list. With politicians in all levels in Switzerland, a CEO for large companies. So it was a lot of work on that area to also create a digital event, because VIP people were able to get into the event, to the venue, and assist, and touch and discover and practice with the technology, and also doing that remotely, virtually. New measures arrive in Canton Valais, where we have the school. We need to adapt.
How many hours before the event?
to be exact, 46 hours before.
Okay.
So we see that measure, and this is part of the innovation. It's about finding the way to create something with value. So
True.
It was a good challenge for the Innovation Hub. And we are very proud that in 46 hours, we completely rephrase the event, and we are able to create a TVC with a prompter, okay, inviting people online, and the result is very good. So the feedback that I received, it was funny, it was interactive, it was interesting, and they are all willing to have conversations, okay, to keep growing together and create things together.
Well, and I'm proud of us, honestly, because there were a number of digital days events that were canceled instead of going digital, and we weren't one of them. So I mean, I think the ability to pivot like that is something we should be proud of. Okay, man, enough of us. Okay, we've got a couple of guests backstage, so do me a favor, and you know them much better than I do, so why don't you introduce them and start with Nikos?
Yeah, I will talk about Nikos. Nikos is a multidisciplinary entrepreneur. He's the responsible of many creations in robotic in our partner company that is called Workshop 4.0. He's designing R&D of new solutions with the robots, and for me it's a pleasure to have Nikos here, okay, in this event. So Nico, welcome to the happy hour of Scott Dahl. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, first of all, thanks for having me, Pablo. I come from Greece, from Athens, and I studied many different things, from metal construction to design and artistic sculptures, and I'm a very big fan of robotics. So finally, I got to do that. And now I'm the Chief Technology Officer for a Workshop 1.0. And project manager, so it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to do, especially in a startup. We have to build everything from scratch. I'm also doing programming for the robots, and many other things. I will know what else to say about it.
Every time I go to the workshop, okay, I visit often close by home where I live. Okay, I always see you busy with the computer, with the robot, trying new things. I see you sometimes frustrated, but sometimes, okay, you are super excited about what happened. And I think that in the way that you are operating as a startup, and that beginning possible with the Workshop 4.0 with the Roboclet.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's how we broke the ice. It was a project that make us known to the people and say, like, people that they don't come from an engineering background, actually they can do robotics and innovate into it. It wasn't very easy, I would say. It's quite a big endeavor, but right now, thanks to collaboration like yours and Kuka and many other people, it's possible, and we are very happy about it. It's exciting. Robotics, it's like space exploration. It's things that makes me excited to wake up in the morning and have a big day of work.
It's coming for you right now. This robot's kind of a friend. You have that feeling that, oh, today doesn't work to work, doesn't work to do this, okay, maybe start it, okay, I've been here the whole day. Do you have that feeling now that it's like a partner for your life?
Like the robots, you mean?
Yeah, the robot, yes.
Yes, and I think mine, because we are in the cutting edge of technology, but also for all the people in the time to come. I think we're gonna have to get used to it. To work with robots and have robots as partners in many different fields, not only with industrial robots, but we can talk also about like e-banking and all of these services that actually automate and do our life easier. We are able to produce more and have a better quality of life because of robots. It's something people have to understand.
So this is great. Okay, I'm really excited about what you're doing in the Workshop 4.0. We are partners. Okay, we're going to start doing projects together. You will be also helping the potential and the future startups of Les Roches to create new services. This is true. Okay, that we have a long trip to together. I'm super excited, and I know that you are not alone. It's something that
yes. We are a team. Yes, we are a team. Yeah, we are a team of 5 people right now, and everybody has his own sector, and he's like very how to say. They are very excited about their field, and when you have a team that everyone is very good and excited about what he's doing, it makes a very strong company, I would say.
So far, congratulations! I'm super excited about this.
Thank you.
This collaboration. I think we can do a lot for the hospitality industry.
Yes, so, I think there is more to it that we even think. In the beginning ourselves. We saw it with Roboclet, which was just a project to attract attention. But also we did Aperobo.
Yeah.
Aperobo, it's much more concrete, I would say, as to being something to apply in the everyday life in the long term. So I'm very yes.
I tell you what, it's really interesting. I can't wait to have a little bit more of a discussion about some of the implications. And I know that we've got another guest backstage we should bring back out so we can get all of that, all of the perspective all at the same time. But I think one of the things that is really fascinating that you mentioned that I look forward to talking more about is really the difference between the right application and customer acceptance of it. You know, there's been obvious applications for a lot of your technology in our industry for a while, and yet the uptake is not so good. So there's obviously some sort of a reason why hoteliers are not on the front end of adopting a lot of these types of. I mean, I simply think of the robot vacuum cleaner, the simplest version that most of us own. It's pretty logical that a hotel would employ that based on labor costs, based on the effect that it can vacuum underneath the bed, which you don't need to be a hotel expert to realize that it's pretty gross under there in a lot of cases. So like it's actually a better solution. Imagine if the housekeeper she finishes 5 minutes early, bloop, she drops the thing and they come back and get it 10 minutes later. There's not even any footprints. The thing vacuums its way out of the room. It potentially does a better job than a human being. And yet you just don't see it employed very much in hotels. So it's very interesting, right? The solution is one thing, but then acceptance is a whole nother piece. And you said it very casually, but we're going to have to get used to working next to, right? And I think it's all about our acceptance and how real do they look and do they feel creepy and all these kind of questions that is really interesting areas for incredible research with interaction. So Pablo, let's get our other friend out here and let's start. I think let's dig into this. So this is an exciting topic. So introduce Pierre for us.
Yeah, I can introduce Pierre. Okay, actually Pierre is quite interesting because Pierre is working for Kuka. He's account manager. Voila! This is a beauty.
Nikolaos, it's your next robot.
So
okay.
let me introduce to Pierre Tache, okay, who's working for Kuka. Kuka is partner of Workshop 4.0, so congratulations. Okay, I have to say exactly the same from Workshop 0 to Kuka. And please tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about Kuka for people who doesn't know the company.
Okay, thank you, Pablo, and thank you for the invitation. Yes, first to introduce me, my name is Pierre Tache. I live in the French part of Switzerland, near from Vevey. Since 1 year at Kuka, I'll sales manager. Sales manager is at the moment a little crazy with the corona crisis, but normally a lot of on the road at customer. We have 2 types of partners. We say always partners and not customer. The relationship is very important for a project. And we propose a robotic solution to integrators, same as workshop, to develop some solution or sometime direct to end customer. And customer are also possibility to integrate robotic. And maybe about Kuka. Kuka is a German company, approximately 14,000 employees worldwide. And we produce robotic for all kind of market. If we speak about market in Switzerland, watch industry, med tech industry, film production, or of kind of project.
Now it's amazing. You know that I'm super fan of Kuka. I think the first time I discovered Kuka was watching a video about Tesla.
Okay. Yeah.
These amazing collaborative robots able to work nearly alone. And when you start to sniff a bit more about the company, you realize that Kuka produce massive amount of different robots, and the possibility that they have for operation and collaboration are just incredible.
Yes, the portfolio is very big. We speak about the payload. The payload is the range of how can the robot take as a kilo from 3 kilo to 1,300 kilo. It's a big challenge to develop some robot. But in Switzerland, we speak about 3 to 20, 60 kilos. You can imagine, for example, watch industry. We don't propose robot with payload 1,300 kilo,
Yeah.
but you need to be accuracy. You need to be fast. It means you have always a good robot to deliver solution to customer or to partners.
I know it's very accurate. Something that
Yes,
really
of course.
impressed me about Kuka is the capability of being accurate on the service.
Yes, of course. It's always necessary to deliver accuracy and good solution.
Okay. So how do you decide to collaborate with the Workshop 4.0? So how you started this relationship with this startup doing Roboclet, Aperobot, this kind of crazy services that didn't make sense for the hospitality industry?
Yes, of course. I think some company as a workshop is very important to develop a solution. Not always solution in own way. Maybe they have a lot of idea on to propose some new choice.
Mm-hmm.
And with workshop, it's always good to work together. People are very confident, and they have always idea to propose something new.
Yeah.
And the robot apero was very crazy to propose wine to customer, and very well.
We nearly had this Aperobot in the opening of Innovation Hub. So it was the plan to bring the robot to the venue at Les Roches campus. Unfortunately, we need to not bring it because it was not a physical event. I had a time with Nico in the workshop, and it's really amazing. So
Yes, of course. I think the public during it was in Valais.
Mm-hmm.
The people were very interesting to discover this solution.
Yeah, it's super interesting. Okay, and also in the case that the Workshop 4.0 will be mentoring our startup. When I say mentoring, it means that new people with ideas, business ideas in the area of robotic. I think Workshop 4.0 have this capability of understanding the concept of the project and put into practice, because the most difficult part normally in new solution for any industry is the application of the solution.
Mm-hmm. And the capability to develop this solution.
Yeah.
And the workshop has developed a very good solution.
And for you, you've been dealing with a lot of startups. Listen, so that your list of startups is quite large. Okay, companies in general. How is normally the feeling to work with young people, like people in Workshop 4.0?
It's always difficult to give an answer. We have a lot of company. They are a big company. We are also interesting to develop a partnership with startup. Mm-hmm. I think startup people are very good idea to promote also robotic, mm-hmm. And we are always offer to develop solution together with startup.
And this is a great way of collaboration. I mentioned before with
we need some company as a workshop. It's very important also for Kuka.
So also Kuka had this kind of ecosystem. This thing in the ecosystem where the collaboration is important to develop.
Also with the university or big or the high school, same as maybe Les Roches. That is also interesting for Kuka.
So guys, I asked to jump in really quick because with both of your relatively pronounced accents and most people probably not knowing as much about the Swiss culture as you guys, Roboclet probably has a lot of people going, what are they talking about? So let me just, I actually found a picture while you were talking. I'm going to see if I can share it because it's actually quite cool. But in the meantime, I think that in a second, let's get Nikos back out so that we can continue our conversation. But one of the things, Pierre, that's really, really cool about your company is that a lot of times when I deal with companies in digital transformation specifically, they've gotten the cart ahead of the horse in that they are building something that they're not certain what the solution is. And you really can't do that because every single one of your applications, although it uses the same tech, has a different need. And until the customer defines the need, you don't really have anything to do. So it explains the partnership with Workshop. It explains the reasons for experimenting with some of these kind of things. But I'm going to experiment and see if I can show this picture because I think people need to see a picture of Roboclet because it's quite cool. So hold on one second. Let me make this happen. There we go. It's going to work great. Okay. So everyone else should be seeing a picture pretty soon. I think Carolina might need to help me share that. But there we go. So that's Roboclet. And I think both of you are involved in this. So maybe what was the process that made this happen?
This is a question for Nikos.
Yes.
Let's start with Nikos, but you were both involved. So what was the process, Nikos? Where did this come from?
This robots, it's a complex question to answer, actually. The idea came from Nico and me. We're trying to find a solution to promote robotics and to make it known to more people. Actually, the project afterwards, Nico followed it, and I continue on the industrial robots. I joined the team back again with Aperobot afterwards, actually.
Oh, okay. So still, yes. I think people, although once again, apero is not an international term, but I think people can understand. But explain that one. I'm going to leave the picture of Roboclet, but
Aperobot, it's apero. It's to have something to drink before food. I mean, generally here in the Spanish for the whole length of the day, but it serves wine. It's one robot. It's taking out the bottle, opening it, serving the glasses, and people, they can just go and touch a pedal, and then the robot will come and serve them a glass. So it's quite nice. It's fun. Raclette is also very nice, and it's very, very yummy as well. I will say it's a very strong project. Both of them had a lot of views and a lot of interest.
From a notoriety perspective, based on what they are, certainly, we were planning on having, I think, Pablo, if I'm not mistaken, Aperobot at the grand opening was going to serve wine or something similar, right? And so it's a really neat way to attract attention to the technology, and sometimes just to get people up close to it so that they, as you mentioned, can start to live near it. I think if it doesn't turn around and break you.
I tried Aperobot a few times, okay, and I have to say that the quality of the service, I mentioned before with Pierre about the capability of Kuka to produce robots which are super precise on the service. So my girlfriend have a winery, okay, we're serving bottles of wines every day, millions of bottle production every year, and the capability of the robot being serving the wine, opening the wine, is just blow mind for the hospitality point of view.
Yes, what you have to understand. Sorry, I don't. Maybe you're addressing the question to Pierre, but it came to my mind to say that to use a robot to do the task the most efficient way, sometimes it's not the most sexy way. So taking a robot and doing it, make it moves like as a human will do. Sometimes it's a bit more lengthy and doesn't make so much sense from an engineering perspective, but it amazes the people. So when people are seeing it, it's like, oh, it make an interaction. It's like it goes back to the question about the partner. Do you think a robot could be a partner? It's more easy to be a partner if it looks more like us. and it's that was the importance to Upper Robo. It has to look like a human who's doing it, and not to have like just an automatic serving machine, because an automatic serving machine will have look much different from that.
Yeah, that we find that in everything. There's a company that's developed some really cool technology that uses AI to look at emails, and when an email is about a piece of group business for a hotel, it can mine the parts, go to the system where the pricing lives, and reply to the request with a proposal without a person touching it. And one of the things they found was that it was able to do it so quickly that people wouldn't accept the response, and they always called. And they built in an arbitrary 26-minute delay, and now it's got almost 100% acceptance. So it's really it's about understanding what people's expectations are, and quite frankly, just not sometimes violating their expectations so bad that you get us out of our normal routine. And it might be in your case just even appearance. If the right thing is for it to have two wheels underneath it, but it makes it much more comfortable that it's walking on feet. That's an engineering challenge for you, but if it overcomes acceptance, then I think that's a huge benefit. Yeah, that's really cool. Yes. Very cool.
We shouldn't forget that having a product that is looking nice, it plays a role, even if in the end, like for us to go with Kuka in the beginning, when I came out for the art school, I had no idea about robotics, but we went with Kuka because we liked the robots. We liked the design. We liked the way they look like. Afterwards, of course, there is much more to it. But the first impression and the first draw to go look into it comes from the appearance. So it's
aesthetics. It's aesthetics sometimes, right? I ride a Harley Davidson, but not like even close to the most technologically advanced motorcycle. It's the one I bought. I bought it 2019. I could have had the only electronics on it are the radio and the GPS, but yeah, it's very different. It's about acceptance, about what you want. It's about what you're comfortable with and stuff like that, for sure. So, gentlemen, let me ask you first, Nikos, because you're actually a partner in the hub, and this is a conversation about the hub. Tell me a little bit about what's your reason for getting involved in the hub? Why give your time? Why give your expertise? Why not focus that all in one place and hoard it all and stuff like that? What's the reason?
There's no one reason. I would say there's many reasons. I would say first reason it's we like to go out of our comfort zone. This is like what defines us. That's why we do like extravagant projects. But I have to say also that with the design, it's more personal, I would say, than the workshop. But since I do design and I have done decoration for hotels in Doha and here, as I mentioned before, we're quite close to this industry, and we do it already with decoration. Why not do it also with robots? It's quite interesting. Also for us, we need an ecosystem, as we mentioned before. As Kuka needs an ecosystem, as you need an ecosystem. And when you have partners that are strong in their domain, and joining a hub like this, it's only going to make us stronger. It's a win-win situation for every one of us. So
cool. And so, Pierre, let me ask you, if you don't mind, kind of a very similar question, but a little bit more general. Similar question. What are the benefits in getting involved in this kind of thing? What are the benefits with that type of partnership? What are your personal rewards from it? Why give your time? Why do this today? You won't get a check, I promise. So why do this today?
That's me, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, the communication is not okay. I think at this time with the COVID crisis, it's always good to share experiences, and with Les Roches, it's also interesting for me or for Kuka to share a new idea and also to go forward. The robot we won't replace a human, but can help them to make the job.
Cool. Yeah, for sure. So, and then Nikos, we're going to talk in a second about some of the projects that are in there and talk about those a little. But from the other perspective, what makes a good mentee? What kind of person gets more than one cup of coffee and one little bit of advice? How does a student line themselves up so that they can learn everything that you know and not have to pay the price for it?
Lots of work. That's a simple answer. That's a very simple answer. I mean, I can develop it more, but it's lots of work. And in order to make lots of work, you have to be excited of what you're doing. I use as an example. It's funny because I'm a gamer. I'm a computer since I'm like my first computer, and I really like that. And when I was younger, I could let myself go and play for the whole weekend, and like taking 2 or 3 hours of sleep and eating only once a day, because I was so excited to play the game. So nowadays, okay, we grew up. We're not kids anymore, and it's the same excitement that keeps us going. And when we don't know something, I say we because I can speak for the team about that. It's the same thing for everyone in its sector. You have to go and look for the answer. You have to make a phone call. You have to go to the internet. Something we forget about innovation and we get for granted is the internet. It's so much simpler today. I mean, what I do nowadays, 30 years ago, wouldn't be possible if I don't go to pay for a school, and I will get precise into a certain domain, and so would not be able to go further down and explore different roads. So, yeah, I would say work and education. Educate yourself. Don't expect someone to ask you to do it for exams, or do it because you are interested in with it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think contribution, right? For me, I know when I was still running hotels, it was really common that the person that would help me get my job done by 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Friday got the last 3 hours to learn something new. And if I was still working till 5, nobody learned a lot that week. So, and so I think it's, you're right. There's that kind of investment of knowledge and effort and that sort of thing. So, Pablo, let's talk a little bit about some of the projects that, what are the types of projects? Where do they come from? So throw us an example and let us understand one, explain it, and we'll talk about it a little bit.
That can be possible my favorite part, okay, at that moment, position at the hub. Because too, okay, it's hard to create something. This year has been difficult because COVID-19. Fortunately, for people who work in innovation, this is paradise. So we noticed that we need to create new things, new solutions. There is collaboration. I never saw so much collaboration with companies that this year in any sector. So we have a lot of projects in the pipeline, more than 10 for the next 12 months. I can speak about few then that are already running, and we opened the hub 2 weeks ago. So just to understand, okay, the potential of this of the ecosystem that we created. There is a nice project with one of our partners called Brunata, that they're producing services in IoT, and they are below to a German company leader in this technology. And we started this year with our students at Les Roches a challenge. We challenge the students to create or to make ideation of the future service with IoT for the hospitality industry. And this is amazing because, first of all, these people are feeling hospitality. They may have family, friends, okay, they are studying hospitality because they love this hospitality. They have been doing internship, okay, and after that they have this creativity and this way of thinking that when you reach a certain age is much more difficult to do.
Well, they don't know any better than to be creative, right? If that makes sense. And it's an incredible asset to be able to tap into, quite frankly, because for me at least, and maybe Nikos and you are okay, but I'm pretty sure Pierre looks like he's closer to my age. Like that kind of stuff. Like I think we've learned enough about what doesn't work that a lot of times we become jaded about a solution that if someone with a very open mind starts to work on it, then all of a sudden they present it to me and I go, wow, that's actually, there is more there than I thought. So yeah, I think that naivete is a giant asset. You know?
And this is purely creativity. So I think we need to listen the youngest generation to decide what will be the future. And we have to be there, okay, to help them to create the future. So one of the projects that we are running these days, and super satisfaction for our partner, for our students, okay, really companies are interested about understanding what is the outcome, because we are creating at the end a ceremony of awards for the best solution. A second one that is also super interesting, super technical, is related to artificial intelligence and machine learning. So it's a company here in Valais called IP Keys, and this project is being subsidized and promoted and helped by InnoSwiss. which is the governmental agency for innovation in Switzerland. In this project, with many partners, and Les Roches, we are proud to be one of the partners of this project. We are testing a service to understand if people faces is equal to personality of people. So we know all that when you look at someone for the first time, you have the first idea of the person. We heard that all the time. So with technology, with machine learning and interesting cameras, we want to demonstrate that your faces have some traits that tell you about your personality. And this is super exciting. And we've been involving in this testing students and professors and academics, and it's going to be a revolution for hospitality, also for human resources. And there is another project that I cannot still talk much about, and actually it's with Nikos and Workshop 4.0 to also create the future solutions of robotic for the hospitality industry. And for this project, we want also to listen to the hospitality industry, because there is a need. There is a need. We are in the year of digitalization, and it's not only about platforms, apps, etc. It's also about collaboration with robotics.
Yes, the hardware. There is also hardware to the digital world. It's not only behind the screen. It's quite interesting what you're saying, Pablo. Very nice.
No, it's really when you start to incorporate all of that, Pablo. One of the projects that you and I have talked a little bit about is using facial recognition technology and really trying to find applications in hospitality for facial rec. And one of the things that, when you start talking about customer acceptance, Nikos, data privacy is a big thing, right? But there's a whole component of facial rec, which is biometric, but not privacy oriented. And imagine if we simply were able to measure accurately sentiment, and on a daily basis, we could know how much happier people are leaving our hotel than when they arrived. And we don't need to know who they are. We just need to know if they're happier or not on an average. And we could incent our staff, and we could measure it and build our schedules based on when we're more effective and we're not more effective, just in raising people's sentiment. And so kind of, sort of like looking at applications that people are willing to live next to, as opposed to ones that make them kind of creep out a little bit and pull back from technology, right? I think is really it's a cool space to be in right now. It's really kind of a lot of fun. So, gentlemen, we're kind of pushing up against our time normally. And so this was really fantastic. I think it was a very interesting session. I think, first of all, it helps people understand what the hub is. There's a lot of buzz on campus about the hub and the opportunities with the hub. But it's really very interesting that there's just kind of a developing understanding of what it is. So it's really, really fantastic to have both you guys here and kind of sharing about innovation and how it benefits you, because I think that's an important thing for students to understand. Why would they come here? And I think if you can be really, really transparent about it, this is what's good, then I think it's a good thing. But I would love for you guys just to kind of reflect one last time based on your wisdom, for someone who's out there that's startup curious, for someone that's out there that's contemplating some kind of a project or whatever, what golden nugget of wisdom would you have to offer them? And so let me ask you first, Nikos. Here's your chance. Change the world.
That would be incredible if I could do that. But I would say it's a lot of things that I mentioned also earlier. It's like a good team, being able to make compromises, hard work, never giving up. Yes, it's trivial, but it's most important. You have to find fun in what you are doing, because if you find fun in what you are doing, then you will be more motivated to do more. And the more don't give up part it's also very important, because except if you are God, nothing is gonna go perfectly, and you're gonna find yourself many times in different situations that you will have to believe, even if believing at that point seems like crazy. I would say,
yeah, I think we could probably pin you guys down from a startup story perspective. And I'm sure there's a point where it was only perseverance that caused what is now successful to get through, right? At some point or another, there was a situation that, exactly as you said, that hard work and really believing in your idea. And like I like to tell students, I tell them, love your idea, but don't marry it. And so, really, push hard on it, be its biggest advocate and all those things, but also be open to it, to co-creation, right? Be open to some input along the way is super important. And how about you, Pierre? What? That one already got taken, so now you have even less to work with, but here's your chance.
Thank you, Scott. Okay, I agree with you, Nikolaos. I have also to say, trust on you, never give up, and bring a new idea on the table and discuss with all together. I think to share an idea is the best way to be good.
Cool. All right. So, gentlemen, thank you. How about you, Pablo? Join the hub. Join the hub. No, it's a little bit of a close, and then we'll wrap it up.
Well, what do you need to succeed? Okay, I always say I agree. Okay, with Nikos, with Pierre. Okay, I think that they are super experts on that. I always say to the students, innovation, to the startups, and mentoring, is that to succeed, you have to believe in the project. This is true. Don't marry, as you mentioned, but you have to believe. And I have a combination of in percentage that tend to work is 90%, 99% network. I think the ecosystem, the people that you meet is super important, and 101% energy. Mm-hmm. If you have both of them and you believe and you're surrounded by the right people and the right mentors, at the end, okay, you will succeed, okay?
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that's the one thing that I would say for anyone that's looking at a startup today, and that is if you're really smart and spend your time well, you can learn from mistakes that were very costly for other people without having to make them yourself. More so than the good things. I think you have a greater access of a gigantic database of what not to do if you just pay attention or kind and listen and ask questions and things like that. And that would be the advice I would give really any student, because the reality is your lack of paradigms is your biggest asset, but your lack of experience is potentially your undoing. And you can augment that a tremendous amount by just going and asking some people with gray hair and scars and bumps and debt and all those things that they can kind of help you and help you kind of jump forward a little bit. So, gentlemen, I want to thank you all very much. Pierre, thank you so much. It was really, really great to have you here. Like I said, one of the things I love about your space is that you're really forced to respond to your customers' needs with your technology, and there's not really much you can do until you know those needs, which is a big downfall in a lot of tech and hospitality, that we solve problems that don't exist. And Nikos, thank you for your involvement in the hub, and thank you for your contribution today. And we're working with you over there a bunch. And finally, Pablo, my partner. I'm not sure when we'll do this together again, but I'm sure I'll see you again soon. But I look forward to hearing the stories of the hub, and look forward to supporting the student groups, especially as they roll through there, and learning more about the success, and getting you back on here so that we can talk about the first round of financing for the first ones we run through, and some of those cool milestones that we'll be able to celebrate together. So other than that, thanks everyone who joined us. Thanks very much for joining us. Those of you that are watching it later on the tape, thanks for joining us as well. And we'll see everybody soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Have a nice afternoon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.